So look, y'all, now we're about to go into segment 2 of the Blue Room podcast. Y'all shared some good stuff. I bless the mic because I got something to say. I ride can phones because I actually do try to listen twice as much as I talk. And that's a lot of listening because I talk a whole lot, y'all. I do. But I got a passion for marriage. I got a passion for men. I see brothers out here struggling. And in this segment right here, we're actually going to talk about, if you look at the scrolling screen, that's how I keep up with my topics, right? The contributing factors. How does culture and society play into the expectations we were talking about in the last segment? Because you know what? We all go into marriage with expectations, y'all. We go into marriage, I don't know, expectations looks different for everybody, okay?
Yeah.
Some people are introverted, some people are extroverted. I had some cousins that got married, and I said, do y'all just breathe in the same room with each other? Because they don't talk that much. Like, do y'all just enjoy inhaling the same oxygen
Yeah.
together in the same room? So, what contributing factors? Because right now, y'all, I'm gonna throw some factors out there. We got social media. We got social media. We have the news. We have hip hop. We have Housewives of Atlanta. You know, we
Oh,
have things skewing people's definition of what true relationship between people are. And I'm gonna throw it out there. I did this at the podcast. Black culture sucks sometimes. Y'all, I love being black. I love our culture, but it's some stuff about our culture that absolutely sucks and it's decimating our communities. So we're gonna start with the man on this one. How do you think that culture and society is influencing the 596,801 women who are asking for these divorces every year? Chop that up for me. What do you think? How does culture and society, what are the contributing factors?
Well, I'm gonna take it back a little bit. I was raised by my grandparents. My grandparents were married for 60 years before my grandfather passed away. Obviously, different time than now. But what it showed me, one, is that that's possible. That's what that's what I was exposed to, and culturally for me, that's what I carried with me, hopefully into my marriage so far. I think times have changed because the culture has changed, the way people interact has changed. When you talk about social media, obviously my grandparents didn't have social media, but now we live in this microwave generation. Everything has to be done quickly. So if it's not quick, it's not real. If it's not quick, it doesn't work. So when you come into situations, relationships, marriages, and you can't resolve the issue quickly, then maybe the best answer is to just quit. And we live in a world where quitting sometimes is easier. And that's, again, not a blanket statement, but in certain situations, quitting is easier than trying to resolve. And I think the world in which we live in now is geared towards that. It's instant gratification. It's, I can imagine my grandparents in 60 years, I'm sure they had a few arguments. I'm sure they had some knockdown, drag out situations, not physically, but just certain things that came up and they had to deal with, but they figured out a way to make it work. And 60 years together with one individual, I don't even know if that still exists. And that's a lifetime, basically. Right. And so
Yes.
I just think that, culturally, we're at a time now where people just don't want to take the time to learn each other. I kind of said that earlier, but that's just my view, culturally speaking.
Right. So you're saying because we live in quote unquote a microwave society where people's determination about politics, everything else, including relationships, is reduced to a meme or a 1-minute soundbite
Exactly.
on somebody's social media feed. I like that. So you're saying that the society of the microwave or the society of quick or the society of I need it right now, instant gratification,
Absolutely.
is affecting marriage and taking out, they're turning marriage into a sprint, not a marathon, basically. That's what you're saying?
Absolutely. When you have a show like The Real Housewives of whatever, and that's being depicted as glamorous or something to be attained, and you see some of the drama and some of the issues they deal with, that they're setting a certain standard. Now, everybody doesn't believe that to be true, but it is a reflection of where we are in society, where they can make a show like this and it be extremely popular and successful, and people aspire to have lives like that. That's just where we are.
Come on, ladies. Let me what y'all got to say about this?
Pardon my face when you were talking. So me and my husband he always telling me that, because you watch those shows, you act like the women. Like, people generally watch the shows just because it's funny. You know, it's entertainment. We don't have to act like these women. So when you said that, it triggered me. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to roll my eyes.
You good? You good?
Because I'm just like, I just think the crap is entertainment. I don't want to get on here and get no restaurant, throw water on nobody I'm talking to. Like, I'm not about to be in public acting like that. But I do like watching them, though, because they a fool.
So what you got? How does culture and society, how's that affecting marriage?
Oh, man. Cause, man, we want what we think everybody else have, right? You look on Instagram, you see the couples in the nice tuxedos and the dresses and the flowers and the balloons and big diamond rings and trips and then you look over like where my balloons and my flowers and my trips and my tuxedo suits, you know, and it's like
store?
you know what I'm saying? And it's like you don't really see what goes beyond that. You know what I'm saying? Some of these be actors. Now I ain't saying that some of them not real life, because there are some flourishing couples online. They got a bunch of followers or whatnot, but we don't see the behind the scenes. You know, so you don't know it took them 100 takes to get that photo, but when you see it, then you look at your mate like, why we ain't living like this? Why we ain't? It make it real easy to compare what you don't have.
Yes.
And
That's
then
good.
that'll set that mess with your expectations, because you expect this. You know what I'm saying? We all want the best for us, you know. So it's like you will look at your situation and it'll make it look like it's not enough. And now you want to start an argument. Because you don't have 40 balloons and roses all over your floor when you come in from work. And so it's like, you don't think I'm worthy of these flowers all over the room? Why I don't have 40 balloons floating from the ceiling? You ain't took me on a trip in 7 years, you know?
And that man gonna say, you better be glad you got a ceiling. No, I'm just playing. That's good, Deidre. That's good. So you're saying that people compare. Like, you'll compare your situation to just something you see.
Yeah, I mean, it's Instagram, Facebook. It's we got our phones in our hands 70% of the day. And so our mind, it's programming us to like,
that's good,
want more, you know, want more. And sometimes, like, we got a house. I got a house. I got a healthy marriage. I got healthy kids. We got food. We got a roof. We both got our own cars. And it's like, sometimes I have to be like, this is enough, you know?
Yeah.
Because social media will make you want more.
That's good. I love that. That. What you got, life coach?
I piggyback on both of what you said. I also think I'm gonna say something that happened when I was, with my husband. We're technically still separated. If you all remember when Stephen Curry's mom got divorced, right? And they had this big thing about, it was real big because they had this big thing about, oh my God. What I said at that time, and to my husband, that why do everybody think that you're going to get what you had in that household? That you going to get somebody better. These streets are raggedy. You see what I'm saying? Ooh, and it was so funny because they had a little meme where this man said it and was like, you don't want to do this. And nobody.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Now, it's not like it used to be. You see what I'm saying? Everybody thinks that you could go find another me. Well, I might be that one that God sent to you to help you change, to help you transform. And instead of you investing and doing the work and doing what you got to do in your marriage. And I wasn't saying this to my husband because he was doing, I was just saying this a statement that pretty much we think that we could just get another. We just think we could just drop and get another. But that might have been the person, your purpose partner, what we was talking about earlier, to help you get to where you need to go. And if you mess that up because you don't see that and you think I could just get another, it's just like another bus. What the girls used to say, a guy come every 30 minutes like the bus.
Every 15 minutes.
That is not true. Because you're going to go out there and get something raggedy. Yeah, he might not be abusing you or whatever, But he's not going to be a provider. He's not going to be a protector. And the same way for men. Men think that, I can get another one because, bodies and all this other stuff. And it's like, yeah, but that body only going to last so many years. And then she going to get fat and thrumpy. But she going to love you when you're in the hospital bed. She going to love you and love them kids. Can she take care of them kids? Can she hold it down like somebody said earlier? You lose a job. Men lose jobs too. And you lose a job. Can that woman hold you down when you lose that job? Can the world change? Or whatever. We look at outside social media, whatever you want to call it, and think we could just get another. I can just marry somebody else. Right. But then you're going to be back in the same situation, or you're going to be in a worse situation. And I think a lot of times we think that this person that we with don't supposed to be the best person for us. That's supposed to be the person that's supposed to help you grow. That's supposed to be the person that you chose, like you said, I do, in all those vows that you said under God, or whatever you said to that. You know what I'm saying? It's supposed to, but wherever you said
right. Whatever you did.
I can just get, and I had got it, and I'm gonna be real, I have got it told to say it to me. I can just get another you. Really? Really? Somebody's gonna do all the stuff I'm doing as a wife. Really? Okay.
My new shirt, my new T-shirt about to say these streets regularly.
You know what? And I like what all of y'all saying, because I think culture and society is just it really harms marriage, because people get their interpretation of marriage from all the wrong places. They just do. And I heard you say no struggle. People want more. And there's a false sense of how things are going on. And I want to talk about the struggle. I ain't going to piggyback. That pig back got to be heavy. Everybody done put something on that pig back, so I can't put it on there, y'all. The struggle, right? When I met my wife, she was totally different from anybody I had ever dated. She was a bigger woman. And we don't think anything alike. But I knew she had the ability to struggle. Like, I knew she had the ability to struggle, because when he was talking about his parents being married for 60 years, right? There is, most people can't keep a job for 2 years. Do you understand? Most people can't stay in a house for 2 years anymore. I think that we have created something where people just cannot struggle. They don't understand that life is not about instant gratification. Okay. You can't treat a marriage like you treat your career. It's not the same thing. You can't treat a marriage like it's your car, where you lease one every 2 years and you get another one every 2 years, because it's going to always roll correctly. I think that when we approach marriage, most people approach marriage to be happy. And it lines up with what social media is selling people. People will sell you a program that will get you rich in 365 days and tell you ain't got to do nothing. That's what people do with marriages. I'm going to get married. Now, there's two types of women, and I might get myself in trouble, but these are two types of women I see. You have women who want men to take care of them. And then you can have women who don't want a man to do anything for him. It's for them. It's like these outliers. You do get these women in between, like you guys, but you have these outliers where they have modern woman habits, but they have traditional woman expectations of their man. So they want to be a modern woman, but they want to have a traditional man. They want him to protect. They want him to provide. They want to do all of this. But if we're going to have these roles in marriages, we have to understand. And I'm going to go back to the work. It is work to have a marriage that functions appropriately for whatever couple that is, and society now is geared towards empowering women. We're not going to sit up here and act like, did you know right now that in college, there are 2 women to every man? And the numbers are increasing every year. That's not strange to people. There is 2 women to every man in college, which is a totally opposite statistic than it was 30, 40 years ago. When was the last time you watched a program encouraging a man to be a better man? Right? I've even heard Deidre tell me, why they ain't preparing men to be married? Because we will spend millions and millions of hours telling women who they're supposed to be when it's time to be married, but ain't nobody telling him who he's supposed to be. what he's supposed to be, what he's supposed to do, how he's supposed to learn. And that's my fault. A man like me, that's my fault if my son doesn't know this stuff. That's my fault. So it's a bigger problem for men, because if fathers are not in a home, because marriages are separating, that's truly why I have this podcast right now, because sometimes the purpose of your marriage is more important than the happiness in your marriage.
Exactly.
If you think generationally. So you'll tell me you want to leave something for your children's children, and most people talk about that in a monetary way.
Yep.
They don't talk about that in a paternal way. They don't realize that there are things that girls and boys both are missing because we don't stay married. I told my wife, y'all, this sound bad. If my wife becomes the biggest slut on the south side of Chicago, we stand married, I'm living in the basement, and she can have upstairs, because I will not be separated from my children in any way, shape, form, or fashion. I don't want to do the home to homes. I don't want to do that. Okay.
Right.
So there's some things about social media. They talk about generational wealth, but they don't talk about generational relationship. We only talk about generational wealth. We don't talk about generational relationship. So like you said, Deidre, some of this stuff, people just want more. You get this car, you want a better car. This man got 40 balloons for his wife, and you mad because I got you 38. You not God dogging, I'm 2 balloons short. You know what I mean? Or you going on trips every year. You go on trips every other week, but they ain't got no money. Right? You going on trips every other week, but they're actually not happy. It's those couples who you don't see doing nothing like that on social media. They super happy because they don't need to know, because they're not painting a false picture that, you know what? These trips make us happier. This money will make me happier. These fake titties and this fake booty gonna make my husband love me more than he loves me now. She'll get back on. And I want us to pay attention to culture and society. And they're even legislating things that are making it difficult. So y'all give me some more on this. We got a little bit more time, and then we'll go to the next segment.
Can I
Go ahead.
Go ahead, DJ. Go ahead.
Go ahead. I talk last.
So I was just, you made me think about something when you started talking about, you know, advice and these kinds of things. I think it's very important to also add, like, who are you talking to get your advice? Who are you talking to about your marriage? Who are you talking to about your relationship? Because some people either don't have the experience and they want to tell you what you should be doing. Some people have the experience, but it's negative, and you may not be going through something as extreme as they are, but they're giving you advice about marriage. So it's like, if you can find people that are successfully married, and I don't know how difficult that is, but I think who you get your advice, who you confide in, who you talk to about your marriage, if it's anyone, that's as important as anything else, because sometimes other people's problems can leak into their advice that they're giving to you for your marriage.
That's true. Right. You're right. You gonna give me, let me use your car and the transmission don't work. Quit playing. Go ahead, DJ.
The piggyback over, I know the piggyback is heavy, but to go with what you said, the problem I see with that is most men not talking.
Come on.
We get with our girl. We get with our girls, girl.
You right.
This month, 2 minutes. Don't ask me about how me and Dan doing, child. I better forgot what I was doing. And we don't see a lot of men that get together and fellowship and find problems. They don't want to talk about it. So, I'll get with Reba. Me and Reba got on the phone. We done cried together, prayed together, all type of stuff, and we don't have a problem with finding that fellowship, try to find those solutions. I feel, and not all men, but I just feel from the things that I've seen, that don't happen on the men's side. You don't have a lot. I mean, Mikhail, you like that, of course, but it's not a lot of men that I know like you that'll call a brother up like, man, dog, I'm really struggling in my marriage. You got some pointers. This is what's happening, because they don't talk.
You're right.
They don't talk. You know what I'm saying?
You're right. I like that, because
I said, you know what I'm saying.
So what? So what? But we actually know what you're saying, though. So you good. But I like that you said that, because and I'm just making a short comment, and then we gonna bring in the life coach. You know, men, they will talk about sports, they will talk about women, but they don't talk about relationship. Those are different. You can talk about women and not talk about relationship. Okay,
Boy,
go
they
ahead,
talk
life
about
coach.
aliens, pale
You ain't
politics,
like,
spaceships. Yeah, brother, I'm having a problem with my marriage. Yeah, I'm going to head out.
right. Yeah, did you see Bad Boys 19? You know what I mean? Yeah. Let's go, life coach.
I also think it has to do with accountability. Um,
Ooh,
Men
my
can
favorite
have the
word.
people that's around them, and they don't want the accountability. Um, and I'm only talking from experience. I've had men and women, like Dee just said, people that are surround me. First of all, I believe in marriage. I believe, just because I'm going to get married again one day, and I do believe that marriage is beautiful, but I also believe marriage is work. And you have to have accountability. First of all, you have to be accountable for what you're doing in the marriage, and a lot of men don't have that accountability, or they don't want the accountability. They might have it, okay, but when they getting told what they're doing wrong, man, but she doing this, you know what, you just don't understand because you ain't married to her. It's like, instead of you talking, how about you start listening? And so that's a lot of times what men do. They don't want that accountability. They may have someone and may have a couple of people and don't want the accountability. So it gets to a point where on the woman end of the spectrum, like, okay, I can't be doing all the work by myself. Goes back to what we were saying earlier. Can't be doing all the
I'm
work by
out.
myself because you may have these people in the place. But I tell my son all this all the time, just like you said it with the marriage, and I want to piggyback on that too. Sometimes, and this is the whole point of why women choose divorce. Sometimes women choose divorce when they got kids in the household. Listen to this. It's because they don't want what's replicated in the household negatively to impact their children. Now, we're talking about when Mikhail was talking about positively, and I wanted what the stats and everything about the kids. It could go both ways. If the kids is always seeing turmoil, trial, arguments, drama, every abuse, everything else, why would you want your kids to see that just because they're in the household? So a lot of people, let's say a lot of marriages I've known in the past have stayed for the kids, and then what happens when the kids get grown? They get divorced. So you be like, why they get divorced after 35, 45 years? Because they was waiting for the kids to grow up, because they couldn't stand each other when they was together. I personally didn't want to make a decision or a solution for that in my own marriage that I was in or whatever. And I made the decision for my kids. Now that's a whole nother story. But I made the decision for my kids because I do want to get married again. I do want my kids to see a positive marriage. I do want my kids to see a God-ordained marriage where, yes, there's work put into it on both ends. And so it could go both ways with, like we said, piggyback on why women choose divorce. It could be a lot of reasons, but kids could be a number one reason why whatever's going on in their household, why the women choose divorce.
Definitely in the top three. Definitely in the top three.
It is.
I definitely it's this joke I have with my staff at work. You better watch who you get pregnant by. Okay? Because you gotta watch who you let plant them seeds in you, because whoever plant them seeds need to be able to plant them, water them, shine sun on them, and help them grow. So because that's the responsibility of a seed planter, and I think that we don't give enough. And I said I mean, I ain't had no kids before I got married, but it wasn't because I wasn't planting seed. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just rolled them dice and them double ones didn't come up on me. So I thank God for that. You know what I mean? But I want to say, to stand together for the kids, I really do like that, because for men, that's insight. Sometimes they leave because they don't want the kids to be like you. And I'm not trying to bash men, but you know what? That's something I didn't sit up and think about. But I really like that. I really like that.
Yep.
And,
you don't want them to be like you, and you don't want them to see you. You know, the older your kids get, it's cool when they 1 and 2 and 3, they ain't paying attention. But the older your kids get, they pay attention. You think they ain't listening to them arguments, and then when you stay, you have daughters, they learn to not respect men.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, you got sons.
Say it
They
again.
they learn to not either. Now the sons can go two ways, right? Because they see the mama this doing all this, so the son maybe by the roll of the dice could be that type of man that'd be a better man because of the struggle and they saw everything that their mama go through, and maybe by the chance of God he end up being a decent human being, but in the same time he could be a man that has no respect for women because since you stayed through the struggle for the kids and your kids see that they end up not having respect for you.
Yep.
Yes, and believe me, I'm not refuting you guys' point. I totally agree with that. But it goes down to what was your concept of marriage before you got married? So when I got married, I didn't say, now mind y'all, I'm divorced. So I'm not being no hypocrite about this, but you know,
Right.
like I said, it goes back to the beginning of the conversation. I do believe that my kids are my responsibility. Like,
Yeah.
like I am going to trust that when that I am going to stay with my wife, and I've been intentionally attempting to make sure we're ready for when our kids move out. But like I said, when you're involved in anything, let me put it to goals. When you set a goal for yourself, let's say you want to start a business, you could come up with 100 reasons why it can't work, but you only need one reason why it can to pursue it. But with marriage, we do it the opposite way. We'll find
Right.
one reason to end it instead of 99 reasons to make it work. And I
Amen.
question that
Good point.
thinking when we as human beings become married, because when we made the commitment, we said it would be forever. I didn't say it's going to be forever if, okay? I
Right.
said it's going to be forever. Now, am I telling y'all they shouldn't end sometime? That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that out of all these numbers, every woman should have stayed. Every woman shouldn't have requested it. But I do think it's odd. Do you know what 80% is? If I give you $1 and you give me 80 cents, you only got 20 cents left. Those numbers are high. And to me, it's
I
just
think
particularly odd that in our community, the numbers are probably a little bit higher. Go ahead, Gary.
no, I was just gonna say with that 75 to 80%, it'd be interesting to know what percentage of those divorcees filed because of the extremes. You know what I'm saying? Like obviously abuse, infidelity, those are very extreme things that should not happen, but they do. So I wonder what percentage are filing for things less than that, like we just don't get along or something that we may perceive like, hey, you could get over that with more work versus the extreme cases.
I will get you those numbers next week. I'm going to
Yeah.
have them for y'all because to me, it's important that we figure out the why. Okay.
Yeah, because
Like,
people get
why is
divorced
it?
for crazy things.
Yeah. Why does it happen? And I think, and I made a video about the power of the who, but I think the why happens because of the who's. Like
Mm.
I think that because I'm evolving as a man, I don't know who I'm going to be. I just know who I am.
Yes.
She just
Yes.
Right.
knows who she is now, but she doesn't know who she is going to be. Not only
Yes.
do I not know who she's going to be and who I am going to be, I don't even know the reason why I am who I am now. And if you don't know where you came from, you surely don't know where you're going. So you got
Come
two
on.
people with no direction trying to make something work that's supposed to be going in one direction, but we don't even realize we're going in separate directions while we're supposed to be going in the same direction. But because we get blinded by love and how we feel, and oh, baby, I want you to make me happy. Oh, the way you touch me made me orgasm. I can't leave him. Like there's a lot of reason why these people get married. I had a woman that I was with before, and it was all physical. Everything was everything you want physical. And one day she said, Mikhail, can we get married? I said no, because this physicality is so good. There's no way I could trust my mind or my
Mm.
heart because of everything else you do to me. And that's the type of insight that we have to have about ourselves, that we don't jump the proverbial broom. You don't jump the broom because of something you lack. You don't jump the broom because of something you need. You jump the broom because of who you are, and what you put on the table is good enough to contribute to a functioning marriage, to create a. I don't, when we get married, we don't think about how important our marriage is to society. We only think about how important it is to us. I didn't think about when I gave birth to my first son that he's supposed to contribute to society. And we have to provide an atmosphere in a marriage that makes him a productive citizen, a man to be honored, a man to be respected, a man that can change the community and impact lives for generations. I don't think we think about that, because if we did, we wouldn't have got pregnant by some of the people we got pregnant by. And people wouldn't have gotten some people pregnant that they got pregnant. And I just don't think that type of work is done beforehand. That's something, including myself. In my first marriage, I didn't think about none of that mess when I got married. I just was in love. I was feeling her. She was feeling me. And it was real till it wasn't real no more. Okay? And that concludes this segment. I told y'all that concludes this segment.